All right, guys, we're getting ready to take the Harley Street Bob out for a ride today. As some of you know, it's got a 3.5 gallon gas tank. A lot of people don't like it for that reason. Say you need a bigger tank. I'm gonna tell you today why you don't. All right, everybody, what is up? What is up? As always, thanks for stopping by to another video today. We are out on the lovely roads of Valley Forge, Pennsylvania on the 2022 Harley Davidson Street Bob. We got a couple friends behind us. We got a Honda CB1100 back there. We got a BMW, two BMWs actually, GS1250 back there. Got a couple friends out for a nice little ride, kind of in the middle of December right now. Man, we got a lucky, nice mid-50s day here in the middle of December, so of course got to get a couple friends together, hop out on the bikes, go for a quick little ride. Nothing too long today, but just kind of like a quick little loop out of the city, out of Philly, out here to Valley Forge. But anyways, I have been wanting to talk about this one and this particular topic on my Street Bob here for quite a while now. Pretty much a topic surrounding the gas mileage of this bike. A little bit about my kind of experience with gas mileage on this bike and what I have kind of seen with it overall. I'll give you guys a little bit of feedback of my experience and how I've kind of worked with through the gas mileage with this particular bike. Of course, it's got a 3.5 gallon tank on it, and honestly that is one of the biggest things that people tell me holds them back from getting this bike, or one of the reasons that they stay away from this bike, or one of the reasons they don't like it. Of course, that would fall in with the Softail standard as well. The 3.5 gallon gas tank. And at least in the Harley world, of course, you got some of the other options out there. Some of your other top Softails are going to come with like a 5 gallon tank. Touring pretty much coming up around like 6 gallons, I think. And I'm probably going to make a lot of people mad or angry with this when I tell you that, in my opinion, you really don't need much more than 3.5 gallons, and I'm going to tell you why. But first off, before I tell you why, let me know, first of all, one of the biggest reasons as to why I'm going to tell you don't need more than 3.5 gallons is because how long are you really riding straight through, non-stop, without getting off the bike? Let me know down in the comments. Let me know how long you're really riding before you take a break. And you'll start to see what I'm getting at here when I start to talk a little bit about the gas mileage and my experience with the mileage on the Street Bob. Like, how long do people really go without stopping? And we're talking like water break, bathroom break, somewhere that you're probably going to stop where there's a gas station where you would be able to fill up. So realistically, how long are you guys out there riding without taking a break? If you want to put it in terms of miles or time frame, go ahead and do me that favor, drop it down there. How long can you really go or really last without taking a break? Because for me, I'm saying like whether it's I gotta eat something, or I gotta go to the bathroom, or I gotta drink some water or something, I'm saying I'll last 2 hours, maybe a little over 2 hours straight on the bike, straight through, until I kind of gotta like hop off, take an actual break. Also, you know, just riding the bike in general is a little bit taxing. You know, you need to take a break real quick, kind of like rest on the side of the road, rest at a rest stop or something like that. You're getting beat up by the wind, it's loud, it's noisy. So just all those little factors could be any reason why you would hop off and take a break. And for me, that usually comes, if it's a longer trip, that usually comes at about 2 hours to 2.5 hours or so. I'm like, all right, get me off this thing, I gotta stretch out, take a quick break, hop back on. And so to bring that back to the gas mileage thing, everybody says like, oh, I need 5 gallons, I need a 6 gallon tank, I need more gas, this and that. I'm telling you, do you really? Because that goes back to the question of how long are you really staying or riding on the bike? So if we break this down by a gas mileage perspective and just my experience with the Milwaukee 8 114 on my Harley Street Bob, if you're out there cruising, doing some of your general cruising with the Milwaukee 8, from my experience, I can kind of push this thing to around 50 miles a gallon. So if, you know, you kind of do the easy math there, we got a 3.5 gallon tank, you know, we can push this thing up to about 150 miles on a tank, and then you've got that half gallon probably that you're going to have remaining. You're going to have another, you know, what is it, anywhere from 15 to 25 miles that you can go on that half gallon, depending on, you know, conditions, how you're riding, all this and that. So if we think about that, call it 170 on a tank of gas. Just for simple number purposes, we're going to call it 170 miles on a tank of gas in our Harley Street Bob here, again in Milwaukee 8114. So start to break that down. If we're going, call it 70 miles an hour on a cruising speed, we'll just use average numbers here. We go an hour, we did 70 miles. We did 2 hours, we did 140 miles. So then we get to that point where we're potentially maybe starting to look for gas there. But at that point, we've been on the bike for 140 miles, 2 hours at a clip. I mean, are you guys pushing it farther than that? Are you taking it up to 200 miles straight shot? Are you taking it over 3 hours on a straight shot? And if the answer is no, well, then what are you complaining about the volume of your gas tank for? So I'm kind of putting it in that perspective where, you know, you complain about a 3.5 gallon tank, but are you actually getting the maximum out of every stretch that you're on? Are you pushing every tank to 300 miles? No, probably not, of something like that you're going to get on a touring bike. And so that's some of the numbers that I was working through my head when people were complaining about 3.5 gallon tank. I'm like, how far are you really going without stopping anyways, where you could just fill up? Like, I've never had a problem on long stretches with this thing. I would say I give up probably before the bike does, and I'm looking to hop off, take a break, and this and that. And now that's going to make some guys mad out there. I know they're going to say, oh, I go 300 miles without stopping. I go 3 hours without stopping on my bagger. I got my cup of water here, my drink holder, my stuff is all ready to go. I got the wind protection, all that. Yeah, I get it. Okay, maybe there's people out there sitting on the bike for 3 hours on a street glide, road glide, gold wing, whatever it is, and putting all that down. But I mean, me personally, that's not really happening for me or most people, I would say. Who's really pushing it 3 hours straight on a bike? I'm willing to bet there's not that many people out there doing that. So I'm here to tell you that with the gas mileage that the Milwaukee 8114 gets, you're getting about 50 miles a gallon. You could get almost 170 miles on this tank. How much more do you really need before you're gonna stop? Now, if you're out there in some of those more like remote areas, I guess, yeah, I mean, you just got to kind of plan out your stuff a little better. Maybe your rest stop is not always going to have gas, or, you know, you kind of got to scrounge around. Then, obviously, yes, you're going to have to like look around a little bit harder, plan out some of your stops here and there to be a little bit more conducive to your gas stops. But really, I'm looking at this perspective of, you know, how long are you really pushing it on a stretch like that? I mean, 170 miles a clip and then find a gas station? How much more do you really need? Now, another piece of that too, I guess, could be annoying. Say you put down a 150 mile day and you come right straight home, then yeah, next time you get on the bike, you're gonna have to fill it up first thing. You know, you got a bag or something, 6 gallon tank, you know, you're probably gonna still have half a tank left. You could just run right out to whatever you're doing instead of having to stop right away to fill up when you're leaving that day. But like I said, that's just one of the really big things I hear that people say deter them from actually getting this bike is the 3.5 gallon tank. And guys, I'm telling you, I don't think it's really going to make that much difference for you to have 3.5 gallons when you're still putting almost 170 miles on a tank. Now, yeah, you could go get a Lowrider S, got your 5 gallon tank, and obviously extend your range of your tank that way, of course, but I really wouldn't let that be a limiting factor of you deciding to get the Harley Street Bob. If you really like this bike, 3.5 gallons of gas at 50 miles a gallon is going to be more than plenty, more than capable for you to pretty much ride this thing all day, anywhere you want to go, planning out your stops like that, planning out your rest breaks, because there's going to be a gas station somewhere where, you know, I tell people all the time, you don't need that big touring bike, 6 gallons of gas. If that's what you're into, that's totally fine as well. Trust me, I love a nice road glide, street glide. And I'm sure I've probably mentioned this before, I'm really happy with the gas mileage on this thing. And I was actually super surprised by it as well. Like I said, if you're doing your highway cruising, 70 to 80, 85 miles an hour, holding steady there, you will get about 50 miles to the gallon. That's one of the things people ask me all the time about the tank size and everything, is you will get about 50 miles to the gallon. Now, another thing I will say on that topic is, you guys know I live in the city of Philadelphia. I'm doing a lot of stop and go, sitting in a lot of traffic, a lot of commuting. That has a big detrimental effect on the gas mileage. So for example, I'll tell you, if I'm running through a tank in the city, I will tell you that gas mileage is going to drop down to probably like 35 to 40 miles per gallon, which is still fine, but then you're going to drop down into only maybe like a little bit over 100 miles to a tank. So that's something to consider. But if you're out there doing some of that long highway steady cruising, you're going to be really happy with the amount of gas mileage you're getting through a tank here. So another question I actually have for some of you guys out there is, what is the farthest you've ever pushed your Street Bob? Drop that down in the comments too, because I'm wondering, has anybody pushed this thing over 200 miles on a tank? That's something I would be curious to know as well. I think the closest I pushed mine was right around that 150 mark, just kind of knowing that I could still get more out of it. But I've seen in some forums, some people say they've got close to 200, maybe like 180 or so. Maybe running on fumes at that point. But yeah, let me know down in the comments, how far have you guys pushed your Street Bob on a tank of gas? I'm curious if anybody's ever hit 200. I'll be curious to see what you guys have to say down there. Now, I know I might have made a lot of people mad with this one because, like I said, a lot of people say 3.5 on the old Street Bob here, 3.5 gallons of gas isn't enough, but I'm here to tell you, I think you're wrong. I'm just gonna say it. 3.5 gallons at 50 miles per gallon is certainly good enough in my book, but I know there's going to be a lot of people that are calling me a wuss, saying, oh, you're going to ride more than 3 hours or ride more than 150 miles a clip. Like, okay, yeah, whatever. Like, some old people out there, some of you old guys, like, you, come on, let's be serious, let's be honest. You're hopping off the bike, you need to stretch. You need to give your old lady on the back a little break as well. Plus, with those weak bladders out there, you know, you guys are stopping to go to the bathroom. I know you are. Don't lie, I do it too. But as always, all in good fun. Everybody has their own riding style, their own preference and stuff. More power to you guys out there that are able to push it farther and longer. If that's just your thing, that's your preference, more power to you, but not for everybody. Some people got to stop quicker, some people don't. It's all good. As long as we're out there riding on two, everybody's good in my book. But we will start to close this one out as we enter the nice little town of Conshohocken, right outside Philly here, as we adventure back into the city. So hopefully it didn't make too many people angry at that one. But again, just wanted to give you guys like a realistic insight or realistic perspective into what you can expect with gas mileage on this bike. If you have any additional questions that I didn't answer, make sure to go ahead and drop those down in the comments. I will go ahead and get to those. That was an exciting one. I was excited to talk about. Like I said, I was kind of surprised and impressed by the gas mileage that you can get on this bike, and hey, I think it's going to do the job for anybody out there. 170 miles, 3.5 gallons, fine in my book. But that is all I got for us today. If you like anything we got going on here, make sure you go ahead and like this video and subscribe to the channel to stay up to date with everything we got going on. That'll wrap it up for now. Make it a good one, guys. Ride safe out there. It's the Moto John. We'll see y'all on down the road. Peace.